Thank God it's Friday. Well, what you're just about to watch, it may confuse you a little bit because I looked a little younger. Yes, because I'm just about to share Thank God it's Friday 2024. This is a series that every Friday shows you the activities here at Salento with Love, or probably the run around that I take place in my life on a weekly basis with many beautiful things happening. But this is 2024, remember. So whenever you are leaving a comment, remember that we are back in 2024. If you'd like to subscribe to the 2025, well then do that by subscribing to the Thank God it's Friday 2025. And also, when you're visiting Puglia, come stop here by the office and one of these fabulous books will be waiting for you together with a lot of other things. So enjoy Thank God. Thank God it's Friday, and you know we love Fridays. Thank you very much for joining the membership and being part of this fantastic journey. If you have just joined, well, I would suggest go back and see the previous weeks. So without further ado, what happened on Monday? Let's go. Thank God it's Friday on a Monday morning. We're back on site. It's going to be an incredible week after you probably watched last week. Well, last week was quite good. I can't remember about the week before, but a couple of weeks of sort of up and down, a bit slow. But now everybody's back in action today. In fact, it's going to be a super busy day. Buongiorno. So the work has started down here at Palazzo Angelini. Things are getting leveled and these guys are doing an amazing job bringing everything into the right level. Oh, look at that. And then you come across pieces like this. These are probably a few hundred years old. Quindi questo era difettoso?
Sì.
Sopra non so se avevi capito. Stanno volanti,
sì,
casomai
sì, no,
giusto
presa,
a posto. Ok, scappo che stanno aspettando dietro l'angolo. Ci vediamo fra poco. So here at Mississippi we love just the last few finishing touches really that the electrician is working on, and actually all the packages in there are there, so all the furniture has arrived already. So almost ready to put all the furniture together and turning it into a home. And just going around the corner now to meet Matt and Sarah, which is going to be another fantastic project. Another walking past there, I have this fantastic Casa Grey. Fantastic meeting Matt and Sarah this morning and getting things in line for a new project that's going to be started. Having lunch with my parents because I'm by the water, so I don't see them very often. So 3 days now without seeing them. And now we're going to the office to do a couple of hours work before I got a lecture to Dag and Sheila and coordinate the next phase of a beautiful project there as well that is coming along. So yeah, not bad for a first day of work on a Monday. More than a year ago, we finished this wonderful property, which was part of 3 properties in this beautiful little cul-de-sac here in the Centro Storico of Galatone. Now work has restarted in bringing the other 2 properties together. I would say, as usual, extremely scary when you see this, but it's starting to take a beautiful shape. Good morning on this glorious Tuesday morning. It's always one of those moments when you leave the house and you are in a beautiful spot but also nice to know that you got a full day ahead. So let's start today going to the office now to meet a new person that could potentially become part of a team, and then see what the days bring. I've got a diary that is full of things today, so let's go and tackle it. First stop this morning, Le Tre Case. Yeah, for anyone who thought that that series was over, no, it's called Tre because it's 3 houses. So one was completed last year. We just started to work on number 2 and number 3 simultaneously. Being around the corner from the office makes it pretty convenient. So I got a meeting at 11 o'clock. It's 1:45, so let's stop quickly and see what's going on and update you watching Thank God It's Friday, and the client being in Australia. Good morning, 28th of August. I love the word August. In Italy, it's almost one of those months that you can put a big X on the calendar, and but for some reasons the whole country, probably back to traditions or whatever it is, comes to a standstill, and gradually things go back to normal. So we're only a few days away from September, so things are gradually going back to normal. Yesterday was an interesting day because I arrived at the office and I was supposed to be at the office just for literally about an hour. I ended up staying the full day there and doing 6 hours work, also meeting with a client who's recently purchased a property in Nardò, and it was fantastic to meet him for the first time, and it was just great. And then I used the time to tie up a lot of the things that during the month of August were left behind. So great to see that progress is happening in many fronts inside Salento with love and renting in Puglia. I think it's so important to have that sense of direction, and from time to time just to readjust your thinking and your vision, just to be able to continue to offer the maximum level of service, and also to be different from what happens already on the market. So anyway, that was my day yesterday. Now I'm on my way to Palazzo Angelini on the Wednesday. It's lovely. I meet with Tim and Alan, and such a large project, so it's good to have half a day or a few hours every week just to recap. And although not much has been happening over the last couple of weeks because of the holiday break, but there is enough that's been happening and enough that will be happening in the next few days or weeks that it's good to have a conversation. So that's on my way there now to go through and then get on with a beautiful rest of the day. So let's go and get this day on the roll. If you remember, on Monday we started to level inside, getting ready for a screed on the ground floor. It would be nice to see this space totally screeded and ready to move to the next phase. Sky's rumbling in the background. We are gently getting into that time of the year. Anyway, where was I earlier? I was at Palazzo Angelini, and so now I'm actually here in Corigliano, where something really amazing happened yesterday. The big truck came with a pump that went all the way over the building and pumped tons of cubic meters, or loads of cubic meters of cement. Wow. Can I walk over this? Absolutely. Look at this, amazing. All the plumbing needed to be done to make sure that the rainwater discharges properly, making sure that the electricals run already into the place, making sure that the step is in the right place, and bringing a hair vent to a basement that is under there and it's over there, putting the water there for a water feature. Unbelievable the amount of work that has been done. Closing a door over there, turning that door into a window, plastering all the little pieces, close that there, creating a well. Absolutely incredible the amount of work that has been happening here over these last few weeks. And now the next final stage really is to tile all of this with these beautiful stone slabs and do the same with this area here. In doing this, so many decisions are to be made. Sometimes we could probably run into the error of thinking, okay, this is all we got to do, and we use this word, this is only, and we always say, that's only, thinking that it's only something simple, but is it really that simple? Well, I would guarantee you that that's just a way of making it sound simple in our head, but the reality is not that simple. If I think about this, apart from the complexity of bringing tons of material and bringing it all into level, but the complexity of getting the water discharged from this garden to the street, well, that was something that came as part of this work, and it came afterwards. So uplifting the floor into the living area, into that room there, and bringing it to the street. Also lifting this wall up as a result of this going up, making sure that we were left with the perfect step here going into there and getting the right inclination for the water to discharge into that particular area. Also connecting the inside area with the outside area without having a step. Another complexity, it needed to be done. Then here we have a huge oven that is probably more than 100 years old. We didn't want to lose it. Also taking the floor off from this veranda, taking the wall down, closing this, which was like a big pit, turning that door there into a window in preparation for the next stage of the refurb. So a lot of these elements came together just to tile a garden. Do you like the word just? Only? Yeah, so sometimes I think, oh, I just want to do this. It's so simple. Yeah, can you just put some tiles? Can you just, what would be the cost to put some tiles here? But you'll have to see all the other elements that come into place in order to achieve that. And here we are. Let's go and see the preparation going on upstairs for the 2 bathrooms. This is the large bathroom. As you can see, the underfloor heating has been installed. And this is the second bathroom. As you can see, exactly the same. The right gap is now been left to allow the tiling to go on top of here. Perfect, really. Everything is so perfect. We're here at Letra Casa, and it's nice to see how this has been progressing. The metal beams have been cleaned up, and now all the joints are getting all stitched. You see the difference in the color. It's still very wet. It was just done a few hours ago. The builders have just left. But what a beautiful ceiling. The same thing has happened in the bedroom. Fantastic work here at Letra Casa, just coming together, at least this ground floor. There's still quite a little bit of work to finalize this stage before we get into the plumbing. So we are at Palazzo Angelini, and with the screed going down beginning of next week, there's still a little bit of preparation of work to be done. There's going to be some spotlights going all the way around the flooring here, so before the screed goes down, it would be important to position every single point of electricity in the right spot. Oh, we're up here on the roof at Palazzo Angelini now. This may just look like a window, but I can tell you it was a challenge, and it was also the source of many conversations, many arrangements and organizing. I've also just arrived at Mississippi with Love. We still haven't done the closing video, and I think I'm going to wait now. I should have done it, but I think I'm going to wait until some of the furniture is put together. But the place over the holiday was cleaned up and ready, and now so we're putting some of the furniture together and start distributing. There's loads of stuff here and next door. Very soon it will look like a house. So start bringing the machine in for the screed that is going to go down on the ground floor. Always the usual thing when you work in a centro storico, people moving cars, permits. But work at Le Tre Case is progressing extremely well. So I would say that the 3 ceilings have been completed, where the metalwork has been brushed and then painted to stop the rusting from going further, and all the stone has been cleaned up and everything has been stitched. I just left the office a little early. We got a wine tasting today with a group of friends and clients, but I'll tell you what, my head is exploding. Thursday, a few Zoom calls, but then I've done accountancy, replied to some emails, put some bids together. Oh my god. So anyway, hopefully some good wine is going to fix it. So just going now to Galatina to pick up a couple of beautiful people that don't have a car, and then going over to the winery. I hope you've had a good Thursday. Now that you're watching this, thank God it's Friday. It's a Thursday, so tomorrow, I can't wait for tomorrow. Beautiful. I love my Friday. I love my course for my captain license, and then my osteopath late in the afternoon and work in between. So I'm already getting mentally ready for my Friday. So we are at Masseria alla Storia. I'm not going to disturb her because she's doing a fantastic job, and she's showing really the entire process of how the olive oil was made here in this particular place hundreds of years ago. But if you click on the link, I'm not sure where Ludovica is going to put it, here or there or down here, you can see a full video that I did of this place a few years ago. Yes, it was a few years ago. Probably had a few more here compared to... What an amazing place. For anyone watching Thank God It's Friday, it's really amazing to see these places here that they've been restored, and they're just offering the opportunity to a newer generation to see what was happening here. A little bit connected really to what I do when it comes to restoration of properties and safeguarding some elements for future generations. So anyway, this is an ancient oil mill.
You can read the name of Achille, Luca, Paolo, and Stefano Beneggiamo. Beneggiamo was the name of the family, and now the family lived here. Here, in this French oak barrel, we have the old wine, the aged wine. And the young wine is worked in steel, and there is another cellar in front Masseria.
Allora l'altro proverbio pure c'è che dice: non ho reciso mai male perché non ho fatto mai bene. Non ho ricevuto mai male perché non ho fatto mai bene.
Complimenti.
Thank God it's Friday from Gallipoli this morning, but I'm here because I'm doing my captain license. So just arrived at Scuola di Mare here in Gallipoli. I'm looking forward to my lesson today, so I'll see you a little later. I'm here just outside Palazzo Bella because when the client was here, decided that it would be nice to have a pergola built at the top, also to shelter that beautiful room that you have on the roof and offer some outside living space. So we're just here measuring up, just waiting. I tell you what, regardless of what some of you think, that blue is awesome. Here we are in Mississippi with love. It's just like when you get close to the end of a project, all those little details start to pop up. So I have a to-do list. Very important when you get to this stage to have a to-do list, and sometimes just add on to that to-do list if it's necessary. So furniture started to come together, so hopefully in the next video or in one of the videos of Mississippi with Love will be absolutely finished. Well, this you did see it already, the bed is coming together, but I just wanted to share with you on this episode something really, really special. The glass door enclosure that was actually designed and fabricated for this special shower. As I turn the camera around, wow, this is actually a piece of glass which follows the shape or the uneven shape of the ceiling, closing it perfectly well. Friday night, end of the day, it's been fantastic. It's nice to see Mississippi with Love coming almost to an end, and what a beautiful finish, that shower, don't you agree? But as I drive home, probably just a little thing that appeared this week on Facebook, but now I think a day doesn't go by that I don't see this kind of adverts in Italian, obviously, on Facebook and Instagram and on different places and platforms, of estate agents all over Italy, or realtors if you are American, selling properties and advertising their services as specializing in selling houses to the foreigners because the foreigners pay more. And isn't that crazy? I think, I think it's borderline almost illegal. Can you imagine the scenario where you're going to a supermarket and the prices in the supermarket where you go and do your shopping have been raised by maybe 5, 10, 15% because they've checked the car that you were driving, and because you were driving a very expensive car, the prices went up higher because the assumption was that you could afford to pay more. Isn't that really unfair? And to top it all up, isn't it unfair that the people that are actually saying this, because obviously the reason why they're saying it is because they want to attract people that are selling properties to give them instructions to sell their properties because they can fetch more. They can sell their property above the market price or value because they're selling it to foreigners. But isn't it unfair to think that the way the mechanism works in Italy is that you as a buyer are paying anything between 3 to 5% commission on the purchase price to the agent that is representing you, but at the same time is advertising their services as selling properties at a higher price to foreigners. I think it's very unfair. If you do come across a real estate agent, why don't you check their post on Facebook? Why don't you check their post on Instagram? Because I think it's very unregulated, and the price of a property is not determined by who is prepared to buy it, but the price of a property is determined by the value of a property based on all those elements that the local market or anybody will be prepared to pay. So anyway, this is one of my little things that I wanted to share with you on this Thank God It's Friday. I may one day probably say it in a little bit more details in one of my other videos. It's getting darker. I'm driving towards the sea. It took me a little bit longer than usual today because I was on the site that we're finishing off, which is Mississippi with Love. And yeah, even if it's dark, I'm gonna get my swimming costume and I'm gonna go for a little dive, a little swim by the rocks, which is safe, so I don't want to go open sea. And all I'll say is thank you very much for following this week and all the adventures and all the things that happened during the course of this week. I hope that some of the things I've shared have allowed you to help and grown your desire of owning a property in Italy, here in Salento. And I just love you following the channel. Thank you very much for following as well the Thank God It's Friday. I'll see you next week, next Friday. Until then, stay safe wherever you are. I was that. Yeah, I looked younger. Different hairstyle as well. Subscribe to 2025 and I'll see you every week on a Friday. Stay safe wherever you are.